Hey guys, it's Dylan's dad, and today we're going to learn how to color in your pictures on the computer using a free program called Paint.net. First, I'm going to just arrange my tools in the recording window here. And let's start by rotating this image. I went the wrong way, of course. And I think I'm going to color this one here, so let's just crop it. And the first thing I'm going to do is just turn it to black and white. There we go. Just wanted those lines to be really, really dark. Now we can actually start with this magic wand tool, and we can just select our line. And if you notice here, some of these shapes didn't get selected, so now we'll just have the tedious task, of holding down our control button, and if we accidentally select something, we can just hit Control Z to undo. You can also, if it works, you can just select the white area and then go to the menu and invert the selection, which means it'll select everything that you didn't select. So that's another way, but I don't think that would work in this case because of all the shadows that occurred when I did the leveling. Let's see if we missed anything. Oh, well, I got a little bit there, but that's alright. Let's invert the selection, which is in one of these menus. Here it is, in the edit menu. And we're just going to cut that. We still got some stuff to deal with here. So what we can do here is play with this tolerance. That's pretty good, so we'll just cut that. Cut that. That, cut that, cut that. Alright, so now what I like to do, I'm just going to add a new layer, put it behind this one. I'm just going to grab my paint bucket tool, and I'm just going to color it red. That's to see what kind of cleanup I need to do, so I'm just going to reselect this original layer. And it looks like there's a little bit of cleanup that I need to do, not too much. I don't worry about this over much, like I don't need to go nuts on it. Let's make our brush a little bit smaller. And I think that's pretty good, so good enough anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead, and the next thing I need to do is just remove this little extra line that we got here. And if you wanted to get crazy, you could come in and you could fill in some of these white blotches here, but I'm not going to worry about that. So here we have our lines. So we're ready to start coloring. Let's start with the leaves, and I'm just gonna grab a green, doesn't matter what, maybe a lighter green, or you can use the color wheel to kind of tweak in your green, or you can do it however you want. Let's grab our paint bucket. Now if you look at this, you'll see right there that it's going to bleed out into our main canvas if we try to just do it. So we're just going to grab our green and a really small brush here, and we're just going to finish that connection, and we need it to be connected here. And then what we can do, there's two ways you could do this. One way is just using the magic wand. You can select the area that you want to paint, and you can come in here and grab a brush, and you can just start coloring however you want, and no matter how hard you try, you can't go outside the lines. Another way to color is if you're just doing solid swaths, is I see another area we need to grab here. So we're just going to deselect, and we need a small brush here just to complete that line right there, so that way it doesn't go out into the rest of our picture here. As you can just grab and wherever that, and you can just use the paint bucket, fill it in. You have this tolerance here you can set, and the tolerance is basically going to say how aggressive it will be in filling things in. See if there's any other leaves on this guy. This guy's sprouting. Or maybe those are gills. They look like leaves to me. Thinking we'll use like a cream color for his horns. What could be a base color for this guy? I'm thinking like a bright purple. Oops. And that's what happens sometimes when you forget to unselect something. You have to basically, it's kind of annoying, but so what I'm going to do to make sure I get the same colors, I'm going to use this eyedropper, and then I'm just going to reselect that. And then you have to click onto any tool and then back for it not to change your color whenever you change the color for your next thing, because it'll change whatever your very last color was, which is kind of annoying, but there you go. All right, what was I saying? We're gonna use like kind of like a pink or maybe like a more of a purple, and we're gonna just see what happens when we just hit it. Okay, so we got that one tooth, which is fine. We'll deal with that later. So let's go ahead and color these teeth. Actually, just make them white, I think. Oops. And in order to do that, I'll show you another way. If we actually wanted to complete this line, we can grab this rubber stamp tool. And the rubber stamp, if you hold down the control button, will transfer the line from one part of your drawing to another part of your drawing. This is a great way to get rid of pimples. So we're just gonna, yeah, maybe we'll use a smaller brush here. If you have pimples, then you can get rid of pimples in your photos with that handy little technique by just grabbing a piece of skin that you have that doesn't have pimples and putting it on a place that does have them. And obviously we don't. We need to get white before we go ahead and make these teeth. Okay, and that looks like a tongue to me, so obviously we're going to go with a red. I'm going to go ahead and color this for now. Color this eye white. Let's make the fins like a neon or something. And we're just getting like base colors down. We can do some details. Oops, forgot to lock in that change, which I do pretty much non-stop. And maybe that will be okay for these fins. And what do we want for the extremities? Like a dark purple. I don't know if that's good or not. Oh, and this is the thing that I keep doing. And sorry if this is frustrating somebody that's watching. Okay, grab a white. Just make sure that tooth is locked in. Make that white. I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong, but there we go. Okay, locked in that change. And I suppose these should be okay. So yeah, I mean, that's basically, if you just want basic colors, you can pretty much stop here, but let's go play around with this. Let's add in some texture to some of these colors if we want. Let's start with an eye. Let's make this eye just a little bit bloodshot. Alright, I'm just gonna grab a red and just put some lines in there. Radial blur. And we'll add a little bit of blur to that to just kind of give it a creepy look. I'm just gonna select this and let's mix some like green highlights into this guy. Maybe like blue highlights, that might be better. And let's grab a bigger brush, like 45 or something. I don't necessarily know if I'm improving or making this worse, to be honest with you. Give this guy's skin a little bit of texture or depth to it. Let's take our leaves and add a little bit of dark green to them. And we'll just select each leaf by holding down the control button. We're just selecting the green part only. And I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm going to add some dark green to it. Let's make this a little bit smaller of a brush, maybe like a 30 or something. Alright, that gives it a little bit of a depth to it. You can keep going with this, but I'm going to call this good enough. So I'm just going to reactivate my layer 2. I'm going to paint bucket that to white. Just to get rid of that. And then I'm just going to merge this layer down. And I'll just reselect this white and cut it out to make my background transparent again. Oh, did I miss some fins? Select these. Let's grab this pink. That's a finished product, and that's how you can color your drawings on the computer using free software. You don't need Photoshop for this. So hopefully you found that useful, and I'll catch you on the flip side.